All right. Hi, I'm Dolly with the Marriage Support Group. Today we have Nick Soletto joining us. Hi, Nick. How you doing?
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And Nick has actually been an expert with the group for about a year now, but you've been in the group for longer than that. The experts and the mentors, they are here to help you and to just, whether it be resources or a free call, help you get through whatever your marriage is being challenged with. Nick actually has been helping men manage their anger. So if you are easily triggered, or your spouse is shut down, or your kids are scared of you, this is the field that Nick specializes in. But our group being a largely female dominated group, Nick also does help women facilitate the environment for growth, helps them better understand what is going on with their husbands or with their spouses on that foundational level. And that's kind of why, whether you are someone that's easily triggered or you know someone that's easily triggered, this is a really great thing for you to listen to, and someone that you might want to reach out to. So, Nick, I guess my first question is, you've been working with a lot of men with anger issues. What do you think is kind of like a common root cause behind why a man may be feeling that deeply angered or emotionally upset?
You got to go on right after it, right at the gate here with a
Yeah,
question like that.
yeah, we're
Uh,
going. Go
sure.
deep.
I think the common root is shame,
Mm,
to be quite honest. I think that, I'll pull a page out of John Eldridge's book. I think men struggle with on an ongoing basis this question of, do I have what it takes? And so when little bits of adversity come across and challenge us, it really challenges that question. And if we come out more times than not with the answer to ourselves that no, I don't have what it takes, then that just stacks up over time, and that's where the shame really seeps in. And so, and unfortunately, it's the people that we love the most, the ones that we say are most important to us, that bear the biggest brunt of this.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And if you are somebody that feels that way, and you know it, like let's say you are easily triggered and you know that, where do you start? Where do you start kind of that growth process?
Yeah. What I found that works is there's kind of three layers to this, or three levels. Um, if you are easily triggered, you've got to know how to respond in the moment. And so it's being able to recognize that you're triggered, and your mind will give you signs, and your body will start giving you signs. So you've got to be in tune with that, and then you got to know how to respond to that in the moment to keep things from getting worse and to keep yourself and the people around you safe. So really, the first layer is your own kind of skill set around recognizing and how do you respond to anger, as it's upon you.
To do that, you almost have to be somebody that is self-aware, though, right? So
Yep.
my husband had anger issues in our marriage, and he would be easily triggered, and his expectations were just unrealistic. But he always, like later on in life, like when we went through what we did, he admitted that he felt like I was the problem or other people were the problem. He had very low self-awareness that he was actually creating that environment and creating, the hostility that's happening between us. So if you are completely unaware of that, is there a way that your spouse can help? Is there like, what do you do if you're oblivious to the fact that you're the one kind of that has the issue?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're speaking to the other side of the equation here. And there's a lot of reasons why men may present as being oblivious. One is it's hard to admit that the struggle is there. Um, and so then you have a choice. You can either internalize that, like, as I am the total problem, which isn't helpful, or you can, you go to the other extreme. I'm not the problem. Everybody else is the problem. So that's
That's right.
oftentimes kind of the both ends of the extreme that can happen, around this issue. So, how do you help somebody gain insight and awareness? So I'll give you the thing not to do, and then the thing, hopefully to focus on doing, over the long run. Number one is it's the escalation curve, meaning when things are peaking and things are escalated, that's not the time to try to make somebody aware, right, or try to be logical or rational, because that's actually going to serve to make things worse. Because if somebody is escalated, They're not using the parts of their brain that are most useful for logic and reasoning, right? So, kind of recognize where we're at in the escalation curve, and do not try to intervene logically when somebody is already upset, angry, triggered, whatever we want to call it, overwhelmed. You have to wait for them to come back down and more towards the calm and regulated part of it. So that's quiet mind, calm heart, right? So when both people are in kind of a phase of quiet mind, calm heart, that's the opportunity for the partner who wants to bring awareness and insight to the other partner. And it has
Hmm.
to come from a place of love and collaboration versus, you know what you did the other day, right?
Hmm.
That's probably not a good entryway into the important conversation that needs to be had. So
Hmm.
hopefully that made some sense, Dolly.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of resistance around that as well. So, when, we were going through what we were and he was easily triggered, at first I was waiting till he would not be upset anymore and, talk to him when we were in a good space. And I just felt like nothing was really happening after that. There was really little change, and then it would just happen again, and it would be the same kind of triggers. And at some point, I just felt like this isn't my job anymore, and I just felt like whenever I would hear someone say, or I'd read a book or something about where, I almost have to manage the situation or manage the environment. I would feel a little bit of almost resentment because I felt like he can't be my problem, and I was a mom of three, so I felt resentment towards him, almost that I shouldn't. I'm managing three kids and everything.
Right.
I don't want to have to tiptoe now around you. Like I just want us to be like just stop getting angry or just stop yelling or just stop. There was that almost like I became so resentful that I just, you know, it's like on your website when you said about women just shutting down. I felt like I just shut down and I didn't want to be pointed at the person to fix things anymore.
Right.
So, and yeah, I guess if we're talking specifically to women today who are in that place of almost wanting to give up, but they're not ready to give up because they're still here. How do we start that conversation when they're in a good place so that you can move forward? What is something that they can do so
Yeah.
that you can actually, if your husband has calmed down and he is actually willing to listen to you, what is something that we can do at that moment that could maybe make some sort of shift in the marriage to move forward so you have hope that things can change?
Yeah, this is problem solving 101. So what I say here applies in this situation and in any situation when you have something at risk is that you got to start with the common ground, right? You have to start with the piece that the both of you can agree on. So if you're in a relationship and you've got kids involved, um, the common ground is honey, I want what's best for you, for me, our relationship, and our kids. Right. So you've got to start with, that's a general statement, but you've got to start with where are you coming from as you're about to deliver this insight or this concern, right? Um, and I said that applies anywhere. If you've got conflict with somebody in a work relationship, whatever it is, try to figure out where the common ground is, right? Because if you can both agree on that you both want what's best for this marriage and for the kids and for ourselves, and if somebody sees that there's something off there, then I think that door is going to be more open to listening to what's off. So
Hmm.
starting off on the common good that the two of you can agree on is probably going to be your best bet. Now again, none of this is the silver bullet necessarily, right? If this has been an ongoing issue that's stacked up over years,
Hmm.
it's tougher to kind of open that door again in a way that is going to be effective. So
Right.
start there, start on the common ground. Again, try to avoid being attacking, because that's going to raise defenses, right? And then we're probably going to go right back to where we were before.
Right. Yeah. So a couple of things I'm hearing is self-reflection is very important. Not engaging in that argument, waiting till, it's de-escalated, the situation is de-escalated. And this last one, I feel like you're right when you say it's like 101. It's communication 101, relationship 101, it's business 101 is when you actually give yourself that visual. Like you just set it out, you just said the visual, but when you do give somebody a visual of a shared common ground, That is very powerful, and that's very
Mhm.
very powerful. And even if you're not in an argument and you want to get, whether it's finances or parenting, if you find that common ground, um, a visual of that, then you can work towards that and share what you both think could get you there.
Right.
So you actually, because in your program, you work through visualizing exercises, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Things always happen twice, once in your mind or in your soul, and then once in reality. And if you don't have a positive vision or concept for yourself, no matter what the issue is, then your life's not going to move towards that. And most of the time, most people, this is most people, you have a negative self concept, right? And we have a negative vision, and then we wonder why things aren't going our way or the direction that we want it to go. Well, because by default, we all carry a negative self concept, a negative vision.
Right. Yeah, that, by default, you're right. So it's 2025. We are in this month of starting fresh, and I feel like you've given us some solid steps to start fresh and kind of start, moving forward and create a vision. How do you let go of 2024? How do you let go of who you were or who you didn't want to be or the mistakes you made or the mistakes that your spouse made? And how do you kind of get get past that part?
Right. So I'll give two scenarios there. One is, what was your plan for 2024? And this is that time frame. I
Mm,
like having these discussions prior to the turn of the new year versus in the new year. I feel like it's too late if you're starting to reflect in January. So that aside, what was your plan for 2024? What was your vision? What were you working towards? If you had the one, then this is the opportunity to assess what progress you made. And if you didn't make progress somewhere, then troubleshoot what went wrong, and that should help you build your plan for 2025. Um, if you're one of those people, and again, most people are like this, where you didn't have a vision or plan for 2024, and you're looking at it, and you don't know how you got to where you're at, you don't know what to do next. Well, there's your starting point, right?
mm,
At least have a plan for 2025. The past is in the past. You can't do anything about it. All you can do is learn from it,
mhm,
adapt to it, and improve. That's all you can do. And I say that a lot to the men that do struggle with anger, and they're so racked with guilt and shame from the past. I mean,
mhm.
you literally can't do anything about it. All you can do is learn, adapt, and improve. And so um, that's what I would say. I would say, if you had a plan for 2024, great. How did that go?
Yeah.
The things that went well, celebrate. The things that didn't go well, well, there's your next steps for what you need to focus on in 2025.
Mm. Yeah, I remember my New Year's resolution for 2016 was, to have a great marriage. Like it was going to be my year of this amazing marriage. And it was the year that we almost got a divorce.
Wow.
It was because, but when I look back at it now, I carried everything from the previous years into it. I always
Mm-hmm.
kept all the baggage of the previous years, all the
Mm-hmm.
resentment, all the shame, all the regrets, all the frustration. I just kept carrying it with me. So I don't know why I had this expectation that this was going to be the most wonderful year of my marriage. And it ended up being, the year that we almost divorced. Now, from that, it did transform. But I just now when I look back, I wish that I would have let the past go, whatever
Mm-hmm.
steps that is, whether it be just extend grace or forgiveness or whatever it was. I wish I would have done it earlier because I had so many years of that toxic energy inside of our home towards our children. Everything was just so, we had hostility. And so I wish that I would have done that earlier. So I feel like if you can resonate with this, if it's you or your spouse or your family is going through this, Nick has generously again offered a free call. There will be a link provided. Give him a call, like schedule a call just to see what your steps are. What are your options here? If your husband or your spouse, or maybe your wife is the one that's hostile, maybe you can meet as a couple. Maybe, you can just have a call with Nick and say, where do we go? Where do we start? And help him kind of develop that plan or see what the things are that are holding you back and get off of that hamster wheel, like really, figure out what they're dealing with at that foundational level. Also, you can go to his website. It is stopangertoday.com. And Nick, is there anything that you want to add to this?
I think the thing that I would add is that people are always on the fence around these things,
Mm.
right? And it takes some courage to take action, and this is an opportunity. I mean, if there's you're watching this video, this replay for a reason, and I can't help to think that one of the reasons is you've got to do something different. So this is an opportunity for that.
Yeah, right. And maybe if they, if you or somebody's resistant or reluctant, go back to that visual of a joint outcome. Like, what does that dream outcome look like? What does that shared vision look like? And then maybe this is just one step to help you get there. And then it's more of an inspiration rather than feeling like you're being singled out or that your spouse is being singled out and well, you're the one with the problem, right? Rather make it about doing this together and growth. So, Nick, thanks so much for coming on today. And if you Nick is also in the directory. You can always go to his directory in the resources and find him there. But the links will be below if you want to schedule a call. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
Nick.
much.